Hey guys, welcome to the Brofessional Development Podcast. Today is episode 98, and it's a current events episode. We talk about Bobby, our dude, hits his 2-year mark of sobriety, Airbnb being a bunch of simps and not letting people party, and I made the best of getting drunk and missing my flight from Denver this weekend. So tune in, let us know what you think. All right, guys. So current events, June 29th, 2022. Today we got in the studio myself, which is Matt, Bobby, Sal, and we got Rich, who's gonna hang out with us for a little bit. Rich has been traveling.
Rich has traveling again next week, actually.
You're out again?
So
that's our 100th episode.
Oh no. Well, maybe you'll just bail or something, you know.
Damn, dude.
Maybe we should bail on that episode.
It's not the same without Rich.
Yeah, I know.
I could zoom in. I might be here, actually.
When will you know?
If you could be here, I would be here because you've been a part of this, Rich. And one day when we're making billions of dollars off this, we want to cut you in a little bit. You know what I mean?
Should I come in? I'll come back into St. Louis just for that. No, I do have to come back in. Maybe if I'm there, then you'll know if I care or not. How about that?
Okay.
Damn.
And then I'll decide before then what statement I want to make.
That's fair. That's fair. 100%. Are you going to be in Nashville?
Yeah. I'm going out there. Yep.
Okay.
He's thinking unless you guys are going to go platinum on something and my name's going to be on it, why the fuck would I be there?
Could go platinum.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Can podcasts go platinum? I don't even know if that is a thing.
I think that we should be the first ones to do it.
Yeah.
We can make that happen. It's not going to mean anything, but we could put a platinum vinyl out there
Billboard
that says Brofessional Development.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, we got a couple of things to talk about. Some personal current events, some national news. But I figure we kick it off right here. Bobby just hit his 2-year mark of sobriety. So, Bob, congrats.
2 years. Thanks, man. It was weird. The first year I feel like went by a lot slower than the second year. And I was actually talking with a buddy about it before this. And it kind of slipped my mind. The second year was really easy in the sense of just like I didn't have to think about it at all. After I hit the 1 year, like that seemed like it was just yesterday. But yeah, 2 years feels good, man. I feel fucking clear as ever. And whenever I'm sick, I actually know that I'm sick and I can't just chalk it up to a hangover. So that's kind of new.
That is.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's weird, I guess.
And so 2 years sober, and on the third 75 hard attempts in those 2 years. So.
And I never failed because of alcohol.
Right.
Let's just say that.
Which I feel like that is the big one. I've heard some things. I've heard a lot of people talk about the water. I've heard like Sal can't read fucking 10 pages because he's illiterate.
Sal, say something stupid.
But I feel like majority, especially in St. Louis, like with the drinking culture here, I feel like a majority of people can't do it because of the drinking.
Yeah. I like I was telling you, I was talking to a buddy before this, and it's taboo. It's St. Louis. We are a drinking city. There is no doubt about it. So it becomes really hard whenever you start thinking of, well, I got this wedding coming up that's all inclusive. Why would I want to miss out on that? Or I got these Cardinals tickets. I want to drink $12 beers.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a hard thing, man.
Yeah. So what are the biggest, and I'm sure you're going to do something on it eventually, but like, what are the biggest takes that you've seen in those 2 years? Because I think the 1 year mark was obviously huge, right? Being able to go that full year whenever you quit drinking. But like 2 years, it's kind of like, okay, well, I'm in the habit, I'm in the routine. Like this is just normal life now. But still, I'm sure you look back and think about all the changes and like the milestones that you made.
Yeah, like I mentioned a second ago too, year one, there was a lot of ups and downs, a lot of emotional roller coasters. Year two, I didn't think a lot about it throughout it, but then as I was nearing in on the 2 year mark, it just made me realize that there's a lot that I still have to accomplish, and sobriety is by no means enough. Are we giving Sal the finger? Perfect.
Yeah,
fuck you, Sal. At this point, it's like 2 years of sobriety is cool. I don't see it being something that I'll ever stray from here again. Knock on all the woods, knock on cock. But now it's just, shut the fuck up, Sal. I said shut the fuck up. Now it's just a matter of figuring out what else can I accomplish. Reading some books this time around during 75 Hard. I reread Relentless Solution Focus by Jason Selk. And
wait, no, don't touch that. Don't touch that. Switch to Sal's camera real quick.
Now,
switch to Sal's camera.
Sal, you have the fucking microphone on your dick.
How do you think that's how that's how microphones work.
And Rich is so sweet
Like,
that Rich is over there just gonna do it for him. Looks over and is like, "Oh, poor Sal. We can't hear him at all."
Sal, you know what part of your body like the sound comes out of when you talk, right?
Heard he farts out of his dick. Oh man. Like, how'd you not even think about that? Were you getting ready to play some like sound effects or something like that, and that's why you did that from your computer?
Maybe.
Okay.
Sorry,
Now you know.
didn't mean to interrupt, but I just wanted to make sure we got a.
Yeah, no, we needed a
bit of
shot of
that.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, Sal, what I was trying to say was that, reading some books this time around. I'm definitely going to be more reading focused here in year 3 of sobriety. So, reading House Hacking Now by Craig Curlop, who we've interviewed here before, and learning some more about that, and really just excited to kind of make the leap into something that I've never done before. I still think even with sobriety, like that was an uncomfortable thing at the beginning. And I've done some uncomfortable things. Even 75 hard now feels comfortable to a sense, even though I haven't completed it.
Yeah.
Every day, it's just you're checking the box
Right.
on the things that you need to do. So now at this point, it's just figuring out what are some other things that I can sprinkle into that to really get to where I want to go, which ultimately is what we'll be talking about in our next episode, which financial freedom. So
Right. Yeah. So you're reading the Craig Curlop book, the book House Hacking, because you're gonna try to pull the plug or pull the trigger on a duplex, right?
Yep. So actually, it's funny. Shelby's been sending me some duplexes, and we just have a couple things financially to figure out before we can officially like make that leap of being official of like looking for a place that we know that we can afford, applying for that loan, which will be the goal is by the end of this year or early next. We should probably set a very firm date on it, but that's when we'd really like to hopefully have a place that we got one side we're renting out or Airbnb, most likely renting out, just as far as ease of getting into it, but kind of like the same path that you took on it, and then just figuring out how we can keep elevating from there. So I'm pumped for it. Shelby is too. So it's nice to have someone that's also like all in on it.
Good. Yeah. Because you've been kind of thinking about that for a while, and I think the goal was originally May is when you were going to do it, right?
No, that's not true, because May was when she moved here.
Right. I thought by the time that she was here, you guys were going to have a place.
We're going to have to look at some of these past episodes and see what I've said. But, no excuses.
No,
but
I'm just
the good
giving you
news is it is happening. And maybe I just needed to get to year 3 of sobriety to really fully understand that I needed to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I figured with her moving and transitioning careers, like it would be a tough time. But no, that's super exciting. So in other news, nothing crazy with me, but I was in Denver when the Avalanche won the Stanley Cup, which was fucking lit.
Fucking Avs.
It was so here's how it went down. I was there, Mike Kitko and his mastermind group. I was there from doing things from Wednesday to Saturday.
See a sponsor yet?
What's that?
See a sponsor yet?
No.
Damn it.
So was there Wednesday to Saturday, and Zach Schaefer, buddy of ours, fan of the podcast, we went out on Saturday night, toured up downtown Denver, had a good time. Had a 7:30 a.m. flight. I was out to like 4 a.m. and just fucking missed it.
You missed it?
just missed. Now, when I was,
did he have the same flight?
No, he had a later flight. But I mean, realistically, it was like 4 a.m., like 3 a.m., whatever time we were up till. And I was just like, I'm just not going to make it. And then we were also drunk and we're like, dude, like game 6 is tomorrow. We could be here whenever like the Avalanche actually win the Stanley Cup. And so I was like, okay, well, woke up, got brunch, and then we're like, fuck it, we're just going to stay here. And that kind of just rolled into watching the game, which it was really cool. They haven't won in like 20-ish years, 21 years, which I've always thought they've had a good, I guess this is the thing, like apparently they've always had like great players after great players over these past 20 years, but nothing's ever come of it. And so the city went nuts. The city's always been big on hockey and winter sports in general. And I was in the bar. I was like, man, I kind of feel bad, right? Because I'm a Blues fan. They kicked the Blues out, obviously, like handily, even though the Blues are actually one of the only teams that take an actual game off of them. But I was sitting there. I'm like, dude, I was getting 2019 flashbacks when I was like downtown, like watching the Blues win the Stanley Cup. Everyone going nuts, people hugging, people crying. You know what I mean? And so I was like, I'm just gonna fucking roll with this excitement, because if you're down in any city, no matter what the rivalry, and you see a city win a professional championship, like if you don't get on board with that and just get a little excited, like, you don't have a fucking pulse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was cool. Yeah, that's really all I have. I mean, we didn't get a chance to talk about this, but wanted to thank Jillian Tedesco last time for coming out to the Bros in Business networking event. She was a phenomenal speaker. Her and her husband were awesome. They hung out with us. They were, really like, we got to ask some really good questions, got to get some really good insights into her business and the struggles that she went throughout the pandemic. So we haven't had everybody here in a while, so didn't want to delay it anymore and wanted to take the opportunity to thank them and talk about maybe the next event.
Hell yeah. I wish I could have been there for that one. I wasn't able to make it. And Sal just doesn't like those events, so he's not invited to any of those ever again.
Yeah.
Rich, you're still invited. That's the good news.
I might go.
They might,
Depends on what next week looks like.
Right.
Well, I know we were talking originally about one of the next events. I don't know if we have a date scheduled for the next one, but I know we were floating around golf and doing a professional scramble of some sort.
Yeah. I mean, at this point,
I'll be the caddy. I suck at golf.
You literally don't get invited to any of these anymore, Sal.
Sounds good.
So, I guess we'll just wait. So next week is our 100th episode. So we'll make sure that we have everything planned out by then. I think we're going to do a more informal event, whether it's golf or just go to some type of happy hour for July. And then August, I believe around the 16th, 17th, or 18th, we're going to have Zach Schaefer, who is going to be talking to us about conflict management and a number of other things. I actually met with Zach just the other day. Really cool guy. So it should be a good event. But let's switch to some national news events, which Airbnb is banning parties, apparently.
I didn't get to look at the link that Dan sent out, but I'm guessing that's what that was, huh?
Were you part of that complaint?
Was I?
Yeah.
And probably millions of others that do Airbnb throughout the U.S. So
why would you not throw a rager?
So it's more towards the guests than it is the actual host. Now, apparently there are some hosts out there that are just like, hey, come on in, throw your parties, like do your fucking thing, and we'll just hire the cleaning crew. So yeah, they're not allowing those people either. So they semi-banned it back in 2019 and then loosened it up. In 2020, the pandemic happened and all the bars were closed. So people were just throwing ragers at Airbnbs. So they shut that off and then they opened it back up. And now it's like, as opposed to a safety thing like it was during the pandemic, they're more just worried about the neighborhoods, which is understandable because I've had like neighbors talk to me about it and it sucks. It's a Tuesday night, people trying to sleep, kids trying to sleep, they got to work. So, but basically it's just letting people know like nothing's really changed. It's just Airbnb is just like, it's a zero tolerance policy, right? Like if we find that you're throwing a big party, we're either going to suspend you or completely remove you from the app. I don't know how much it's going to work because I feel like all these kids, like if it's 19-year-olds, they're just going to go cycle through like one after the other until maybe they don't have to do it anymore. I'm sure it will. I'm sure it'll have a decent effect, but it's still going to happen.
Do you think it's gonna,
or maybe what you can do is, oh, sorry, Sal, you were actually going to say something. Go ahead, Sal.
Well, I mean, I was wondering, like, you think they're going to increase like the age for someone to like order an Airbnb?
No, it'll be the same age. Like I said, it's just like I feel like kids, like if you're just graduated from high school, like you don't, if you're 18, 19, you probably don't give a fuck if they're like, hey, we're going to suspend you or we're going to take you off the app. But I don't know how well their tracking is. So I'm sure it will have some effect. Again, I'm just saying like I think it'll continue to happen still.
Well, I think that you should charge a premium, and not that you want to encourage parties, but say, hey, if you're going to throw a party and if I have to come over there, either I suspend you from the app or you got to pocket me $500.
So I can't suspend people from the app.
But you can report
like
them.
I'm not just like God of Airbnb, Bobby. Like I can't just be like, hey, I'm going to go into Airbnb and control all the settings.
But do they know that?
No.
you could just lie to them.
No, that's true. But I say on there zero tolerance for parties for my place. It's like if I got to go over there, then you're kicked out. Like you don't get to stay the night, nothing, like you're done. So I don't know. It'll be interesting for sure. FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr asking for Apple and Google to remove TikTok from stories.
Oh, no.
Stores, not stories. They want TikTok gone. Do you guys know why? Do you guys want to touch on this?
No, I don't know why.
A lot of prep Bob put into this one today, folks.
I put a lot of prep into the other one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. So I'll just run through this. So basically they want to remove it for its pattern of surreptitious data practice. Now, for those idiots like me that don't know what surreptitious means, it's an adjective and it means a kept secret, especially because it would not be approved of. So basically, their data patterns, right? Data practice, I should say, all the data that they're collecting from the US, because they are they basically have to turn all their information over to their government, right? Which is China.
Mm-hmm.
So they're basically saying like all this shit is being kept and stored, all these different algorithms and patterns and like things that they can pick up about the US. And they don't like that. So it's basically saying the actual app, like TikTok, is basically the sheep's clothing, right? They're harvesting all this data from Americans and it's a national security threat is what he's claiming. So haven't read too much into it, but the interesting is like, so I was watching a video that was talking about like apparently the algorithms for like what pops up and what rewards people on TikTok are very different in China than they are in the US, right? So in China, the rewards or like the algorithm works to where it's like shit that they want their youth to do, right? So really cool videos in engineering, chemistry, science, like finance, like whatever, right?
They also have like, so let's say like they go through a couple of videos, we could just endlessly scroll.
Yeah.
But they have a thing where it's like, oh, you should have a break and then like not show anything for
Yes.
good.
So that's apparently what's happening in China, right? Where they're just like, we're going to promote all these good things that are like great for our youth. And then you've got America, which is like algorithms of like the milk crate challenge and fucking videos of dumbass dances, right? And it's like you could scroll mindlessly for hours and hours and hours and it can pick up on little things that you like that is just the dumbest. So it's like there's debate whether it's like, is this like an actual like inadvertent attempt to sabotage the youth of America and make them much more dumb than they actually fucking are?
I think we're pretty fucking stupid already. I don't know if there's any saving America at this point, but I don't know if getting rid of TikTok is the answer, but so I guess China is using it to cue the Trump saying China rich, please. So I guess they're in charge. So China's the one who is putting the good shit out in front of their people, and then China's also responsible for the algorithms that is putting the stupid shit in front of America, is what we're saying?
Yeah.
Fucking Kim Jong-un strikes again?
Not China. That's North Korea.
Was that not appropriate?
It's not inappropriate. It's just the wrong country.
Rich.
It's just the wrong.
Am I okay? Am I going to get canceled for that, or am I just ignorant?
No, it's just ignorant.
Okay, that's fine. I can deal with ignorance. I just don't want to be
You're not
canceled.
going to get canceled.
Okay,
No.
just making sure someone didn't claim me as racist or something.
No.
It might be a little racist.
It might be a little racist. Come on. Okay, anyways.
We'll claim
We'll
ignorant.
let the internet decide. How about that?
we'll-
Let's not post that on the
Get some
internet.
couple comments.
So what else? I know we had a couple of articles. I know I didn't do too much. I know the Ghislaine Maxwell sentenced to 20 years in prison. I did want to touch on that, even though I didn't look too much into it. We've all been following that case. Well, as much as we can be, because they refused to televise that case, which was weird. But the Johnny Depp Amber Heard was televised, like the whole fucking thing. So all I do know is like she was part of like basically child trafficking, like underage prostitution for whatever it was. Yes, like well over, like close to probably as many years as she's going to go to prison, right? And countless people like in and out. I think that bitch, like, how is she not in for life? And some of the people are talking like, well, we can't punish her for the actual crimes that Epstein did or whatever. But it's like, you're an accessory to that crime, like the accessory to that crime. Like she was the person like luring them back, like basically running as like an operations manager for the whole fucking thing. Like she needs to be put away for life.
The headline from the New York Post says, Ex-con lays out what awaits Ghislaine, however you say her name, Maxwell behind bars. Scrubbing toilets, maggoty food, and beatings from inmates. So yeah, this is all written by someone who spent some time there at Danbury, where apparently is where she requested to spend her time, which was actually that prison was the inspiration for the Netflix show Orange is the New Black. So this gal is saying she will have a rough 6 to 8 months.
So somebody's already been whooping that trick?
This is someone who's already been to Danbury, where where Maxwell has requested to be placed, but saying that she's still gonna get her shit worked, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, I can confidently say like the zero sympathy. Like I hope she gets fucked up.
Yeah.
I hope she gets her shit beat.
Yeah, I think she will.
Yeah. Whoop that trick. Get him.
Whoop that trick, no doubt.
So that's I didn't. There's a couple other things that we could have touched on. I didn't look too much into them. So speaking of the Roe v. Wade thing, Facebook and Instagram did remove abortion pill posts, and people are obviously up in arms about that, right? And so it's like no matter which way you go, because like what was it? Basically, Facebook removed a lot of posts also like back in the day for like COVID shit, right? So it's like this is the one of those interesting things where it's like most of the people that were outspoken about like COVID is not real or COVID is real, whatever. Like most of the people that were anti-stay-at-home, anti-mask, right, were talking about that shit and they were getting that taken off, right? And now seemingly on the other side of the house or the other side of the political party, right? This is the like abortion side of things where it's like they're posting, right? So it doesn't matter which side of the fence that you're on, but you should believe one is right and one is wrong, right? Like you should be able to post about this shit and either have it be posted, and it is a free market to be able to do that on these social media platforms, or it should be taken down. So it's super interesting to me. And they're like, so basically they took down all these posts that had anything to do with like abortion pill posts, I guess, that they have. But then they remade the post saying the exact same thing, but put like gun or some other term in there, and Facebook didn't fuck with it, which is interesting.
Shit, man. Yeah, I don't know. It's all crazy shit. I honestly didn't even hear about it, and then I just started seeing a bunch of posts on Facebook and Instagram about it, and that's when I did some research on it. And it's bizarre, something that stood for that long, and they've made some changes to it, but. Yeah, I don't know. It's one thing after another, so it's hard to even. I feel like I'm numb to it. It doesn't even faze me anymore, and obviously something like this, like it could affect me, but it hasn't, and I hope that it does not. But it sucks for all the people who this really impacts because it's just another thing, and for the people that aren't affected by it, we just kind of brush it off. It's just like we forgot about the shooting that happened in Texas. Right, at the school, like that's just, it's going to be another thing after another thing here for a while.
Yep. Yeah. So anywho, I think we're kind of running on time on this one. We appreciate you guys listening. If you've got any value out of this, or you're a regular listener, please subscribe, leave us a review. Not only a star review, write a couple of words in there. If you actually do like this, share it with somebody. Follow us on Instagram if you have any questions. Otherwise, we will catch you next week to talk about, or later in this week, I should say, to talk about the path to financial freedom.
Doses.
See ya.